Yes or no? In all 7 of your Tour de France victories, did you ever take banned substances or blood dope?
Yes.
In your opinion, was it humanly possible to win the Tour de France without doping 7 times in a row?
Not in my opinion.
There it was, Lance Armstrong's big bombshell. Not exactly unexpected, though. Viewed by the world last night on Oprah Winfrey's show. Reed Albergotti and Vanessa O'Connell have been our star reporters for the Wall Street Journal on this story since day one, and I'm delighted that they're back with us in the studio for News Hub this morning. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you. So, is it what we expected?
Yeah, I think it's what I expected. I mean, he admitted to stuff that I think has been obvious for years, and he denied stuff that he, can still deny.
Well, he denied that he was a cheater, for a start. He said he looked it up in the dictionary, and because the whole idea of cheating is to give yourself an advantage over competitors, he wasn't cheating because it was such a level playing field.
That's definitely a big point for Lance in terms of how he feels. He feels that even though he doped over those years, he didn't cheat. So it was interesting to see him slip that in. I think that I agree with Reed that he essentially acknowledged a lot of what people kind of already had accused him of, but didn't go further than that.
Right. I mean, he got specific on what he had used to dope, although he didn't go into too many specifics about the program itself or how it was administered. But tell us more about the actual substances that he was taking to enhance his performance.
We made it to EPO, human growth hormone, cortisone, testosterone, and
blood transfusions, which is not a drug but a banned method of performance enhancement.
And he also made the point that I guess because he had lost a testicle during his battle with cancer, it was perfectly reasonable to take testosterone.
That he might be a little low on the testosterone, right?
Let's take a look at another soundbite, something else he said.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? Was one of those banned substances EPO?
Yes.
Did you ever blood dope or use blood transfusions to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
He has been denying it for over 12 years. There he was, he didn't even hesitate. Was that a surprise?
I don't think so, in my opinion. It was interesting to see her lead the show with that and the show to start that way. What would have been kind of shocking and a surprise is if he did name names and go into details about how he was able to do it. I think people really do still want to hear him explain who helped him, how he was able to do it, and more about his relationships with other cyclists.
I mean, the anti-doping agency did describe this as the most kind of comprehensive, most sophisticated doping program in all of sport. You guys have studied this so deep, in so much depth for us since day one. You've been looking at exactly how it was all put together. In your opinion, does that hold up?
Well, I think he made a accurate point. It wasn't as big and sophisticated as, say, East Germany in the 1970s and 80s. I mean, yeah, that's totally true.
Race, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the U.S. anti-doping agency used a little bit of hyperbole, I think, in their report, but that's not really what we're arguing about here. I mean, we're arguing about the accusations that he denied accusations that his donations to the governing body of the sport, which was in charge of drug testing, had nothing to do with the fact that he got out of positive drug tests. And he admitted on the show that he covered up a positive urine test in the 1999 Tour de France.
Does this redeem him at all, the fact that he has come out and come clean? Does he have a future in cycling at this point?
Well, I mean, not in cycling. He wants to compete in triathlons, and I can say for sure that what he said last night is not going to convince any anti-doping agencies to reduce his ban.
What about the court of public opinion? Do you think people will forgive him? Excuse me.
Well, let's see what he says tonight. I think some people might forgive him. I mean, some people who aren't necessarily, don't feel that they need to hold him accountable in some way, but the anti-doping authorities are very likely to continue to ban him from competing in triathlons unless he really comes clean and provides them with names and many more details about exactly who was with him doing blood transfusions and who helped him do that, for instance.
We know that his lawyers initially didn't want him to go to the USADA. They didn't want him to come clean in a way. Do we know what legal implications there might be from what he said last night?
Well, I can guarantee that the U.S. Department of Justice will want to get that tape into evidence and use it in their case, their whistleblower case against him. He's alleged to have defrauded the United States government. The U.S. Postal Service was his sponsor. In the contract, it said you can't dope, you can't break the rules of the sport. So this will become evidence.
Kind of reasonable to have that in there in the contract. Now, one of the biggest criticisms about Lance Armstrong was not even that he was doping. It was the fact that he went out and attacked the other team members. He attacked the people who were accusing him of that. How is this going to play now?
Well, it was interesting, I think, last night that he made such a big point of bringing George Hincapie into his conversation. George is somebody who he feels that is very credible and a close friend of Lance's. So I think we might see him continuing to sort of bring George into his conversation about doping. I think it would be very hard for Lance to apologize to Floyd Landis, for instance, or to Tyler Hamilton.
Brilliant. Reid, one last point from you on that.
Well, you talked about apologies. They didn't discuss Greg LeMond, you know, the first American Tour de France winner who Lance Armstrong tried to destroy. I mean, got his bike business, you know, taken away. I mean, that never even came up.
We're going to have to leave it there, but we look forward to a lot more reporting from you guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and again, wonderful stuff from you. Thank you very much indeed. Lots more on Lance Armstrong here on WSJ Live and on WSJ.com.